It does happen, and this is proof that it happens to the best, right? Because we're the best. It's crazy, you know, because this is our first time ever having a audio technical difficulty. So thank you so much for being patient with us.
No worries, no worries.
Were you open with the audio?
Start over again?
Yeah.
Yep, let's go. Rolling it back. And hey, yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, Manny, and I'm coming to you live from the Manny J Media headquarters here in Worcester, Mass, with my dear friend, Miss Sylvia Ruiz. How are you today?
I'm doing great, amazing. A little bit nervous, as I said earlier, but looking forward to this. And
it's
welcome,
so good to have you.
thank you and for being so welcoming and having me here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for being here, because without you, we wouldn't, I mean, without people like you and many others who have came and graced that chair just as you are today, we wouldn't have what we're doing here. So thank you for putting your trust in us and for just coming and having a conversation with your boy. We have so many conversations out in the community.
We do.
I couldn't wait to have you in the studio to share them with our amazing audience. So first, well, let me just bring it back a little bit, because we did this, but we're doing it again, and I want to make sure I don't leave anything out. You have so many amazing ventures that you've been working on and that you are working on moving into the future, and I can't wait to delve into that. But first, I'd really like the audience to know who Miss Sylvia Ruiz is and why I love her so much.
Sure. So I'll start with like where I'm from originally.
Yeah, let's go way back to like when you were a kid.
So when I was a kid, so my family started off migrating from Puerto Rico into Framingham. They landed in Boston, and here they are in Framingham in the early middle 60s.
Yeah.
And my whole family's there. My father decided to take us into Marlboro. That's where I was born. I grew up, graduated. I'm dating myself. Graduated from Marlboro High School. It was, put it this way, when I went into school, knew nothing of English, and there was no bilingual system in there at that point.
Well,
so my brother and I were the only Puerto Ricans and Latinos, and there was, so we grew up in a very Caucasian white town.
Yeah.
Very little diversity.
Much adversity, as I'm hearing just in school alone, not being able to communicate in your primary language.
Exactly. And, as we went along, obviously, it was sink or swim. And I think that, we as children, our mind are sponges, and you evolve and you just go with the flow and you become who you are, right? And
Absolutely.
you sort of go forward. So then from after high school, went into Framingham. We moved to Framingham, and there is where the actual adult life took place.
Yeah.
Went there. Met my husband there, had my children there. They graduated, so I have 5 children, 7 grandchildren with the 8th on the way.
Wow.
Yes, busy.
Yeah,
busy.
You got a beautiful growing family, and
Yes.
you look great. I'm just saying.
Thank
I didn't take you for a grandmother. You're looking great, so that's
Thank you. And so what else can I say about me? I've been in the insurance industry for a little bit over 30 years.
Okay.
And with small growing businesses, local businesses within the community. And then about 6 years ago, we decided that we were leaving Framingham, my husband and I, and we ended up in Auburn.
Nice.
So
it's a nice little town.
It is.
It's a little less hustle and bustle than Framingham, I'd say.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Not much diversity either.
Well,
it's growing. I'm seeing it that it's definitely growing, trying to get involved with some of the town politics, just starting to step into that and see what's going on out there in Auburn. But it's a quiet little town, love it. It's about 16-something constituents or residents that live there. But I love it. It's home. It's home. So we're there. And like I said, I've trying to get involved with the community and meeting a lot of people, fabulous people like yourself.
Well, let's go back and talk a little bit about that, because I do want to get into your small growing business, but I also want to just let everybody know a little bit about how we met and why I'm so endeared towards you. So I actually met you just going out into the community. I saw you and our dear friend, mutual friend, Miss Carla.
Yes.
Pretty much always together. And I'd like to know a little bit about why that is. I never asked. But I was immediately, first and foremost, drawn to you and Carla's sense of style. You guys always showed up looking fresh, bright colors, just looking gorgeous and owning the room every time you came in with your powerful smiles. It was amazing to see you guys, and a little bit intimidating. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go talk to them anyway. And then when I came and talked to you guys, it was like the coolest people in the world, like the chillest, most laid back, most approachable people. And we all had something in common, and that was we were there for the community. And it was like no matter what room I was in, what theme it was, you guys were there as well. So it's not like any niche in the community that you guys cover. I think you guys just are there to support and advocate for the community.
Correct.
Overall.
Correct, and that's something I think that Carla and I are always together at all these events. But yes, I started to get involved. It's funny because my dad was really my mentor. Mom was more the traditional Puerto Rican woman.
Yeah. And by that you mean like staying at home,
raising the children.
Keys, I don't want to say keys, but the kids.
Yeah.
You know, chefing up a bomb dinner because, you know, Puerto Rican food.
Oh yeah. By the time I was 10 years old, I had to know how to cook for the whole family, do laundry, take care of the kids, my younger brother, and
But that's good though.
But it's good. It's
like,
good.
Don't you feel like self-sufficient?
You do.
I mean, even though that's, I guess, a young age, whatever. But I don't know. I think it's cool for young people to be self-sufficient.
It is, and I think that that's a missing piece in today's world with some of our children. As we raise them, we spoil them, and we don't.
I'm not gonna lie. I love my son to death. All three of my boys, and they're a little spoiled, but they are self-sufficient. I don't want to take away from them. It's just that's a dig towards me as far as like I should do a little bit better, making sure. Like now I understand why my mom was a little bit harder on me. I don't know. You know, we love our kids, so we're a little bit softer on them, I guess. Yeah.
But I sort of lost my train of thought here.
So we were just talking about your parents, and
so my father was my mentor. He wanted to make sure that I was different.
Yeah.
And we were living in a town that, again, he wanted me to understand what the American dream was. He wanted me to be a woman, and he always used to say these words to me: you can do anything that I as a man can do.
I love that.
And
that was at a time where men didn't really, that wasn't like commonplace for men to think or at least admit.
Exactly. And he always drilled that into my head, and he always said, reach for the stars because you can do anything you put your mind to.
Yeah.
And he says, you have two brothers, but you can do what they can do.
That's amazing.
And so he was really my mentor. Mom was more, like I said, the traditional, and it was really hard for her to understand the way I was. I was very Americanized, but with Puerto Rican culture.
Yeah.
As I grew up.
The best of both worlds.
Right. It was the best of both worlds, and I love it because I've been able to pass that on to my children and my grandchildren. So that's amazing. But my dad started in the community. I saw him doing things in the community. And I think that's where I got it from. It was like watching him being involved in the parades in Marlboro as I was growing up, the Eagles Club, those kind of things.
What types of things would he do?
He would be involved with like helping with parades, getting groups to come and participate and march in the parades.
Organizing and bringing people together.
Yes, he was part of, he did baseball, softball.
Yeah.
He played many cities and made lots of teams. In Framingham, he even created the Pamper League for the Latinos, for the little kids. It was just, he was always part of the community. Then in Framingham, he got involved in the town politics. So watching him, I loved all that stuff. I loved to be with him in these places. Whereas my mother,
sure there was some sense of pride, like, wow, looking around, like, my dad did this. Or at least my dad had a hand in this. This is pretty cool.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool and inspirational to me, right? Yeah. And again, thinking outside the box, not your typical regular Puerto Rican.
Right.
So I remember when my husband, my mother and my father both sat him down and said, are you sure? Because he's straight from Puerto Rico. And they said to him, this isn't your normal Puerto Rican woman.
Yeah.
She's like very Americanized. Like she's not like a woman straight from Puerto Rico. And he was just like, I get her, I get her, I get her. So it's kind of cool. Again, Dad really inspired a lot into me. And
to that point, I'm sorry, I just want to say I can attest as a Puerto Rican man that we're raised a certain way with a certain level of expectations of how
Correct.
a woman should treat us in a relationship, in a marriage. And essentially the way we're expected for a woman to treat us, this is very archaic and misogynistic, by the way.
It is
for our woman to make sure all our needs are met. Basically be our mom.
Yes.
Basically
yes.
spoil us, cook, clean, the whole
Yes.
nine. We get to come home, be the king.
Exactly.
And a lot of Puerto Rican women, crazily enough, are so proud to do that. But the point you were making is that you're not the typical Puerto Rican woman that is so for your husband to have expected those
Correct.
certain criteria to be met, you're actually living a whole nother boss lifestyle.
Correct, and he was a little bit old school. So
Yeah.
as he's meeting somebody who's more liberal with her upbringing, and it was kind of like, wait a minute, but we fused together. And again, it's kind of archaic to say that, and it's not any disrespect to the Puerto Rican culture, right?
Right.
Because it's so important to have that. I do believe in our values, and I do believe in the culture and how I was raised. And I thank God every day that my mom was able to install all of that into me,
Right.
because it made me who I am, an amazing wife,
Right.
an amazing mom, grandmother, and I'm able to take care of what I need to take care of in my home, right?
You found a balance. And I think that's a
Exactly.
testament to both your mom and your dad.
Yes.
And that they live, it sounds to me, I don't know these people, but I'm just, based off of the story I'm hearing, that there was a balanced life where your mom took care of the home, but your dad also, did other things besides,
course.
And so you were able to see like, okay, both can be attained.
Correct. So he really inspired. He did a lot of the inspiration for me to get me out into the community, get me involved without knowing he was doing that.
Right.
Just me tagging along.
That's awesome.
I always wanted to be around Dad. Even when he was underneath the car.
Daddy's girl.
You got it. Even when he was under the car, he was a mechanic.
Yeah.
So hand me this tool, get me this, and my hands were getting dirty with grease. So again,
That's a good thing. Shows that you're not afraid to get dirty.
no, not at all, not at all. So again, he wasn't even realizing what he was doing, but it was amazing. And my passion for the community is there. My heart is there. I love to empower women. I always say we got to go back to where we came from. We cannot forget where we came from, because I know growing up, I didn't have anybody that looked like me to inspire that in me and tell me, other than my dad, right? But I did not have a woman to say, we can do this, you can do this.
To
you can
lead
do
by
that.
example.
Yeah, there was none of that for me, because I was...
That's actually kind of new. Like, I know women's rights, we're, 60s? And then we kind of like, it was like, all right, you guys got your rights. Like, go ahead, just vote and leave us alone, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't until like the 2000s, I think, the 2010s around there, where there was real women empowerment. And I mean, not even till now, or actually 2016, right, was the first female presidential candidate, where you could say, okay, I can really make it all the way to the top. In 2008, when Barack Obama was elected president, I literally cried.
Yeah.
Like, I cried real tears, and it wasn't that I was sad, it was that I was like, we made it. Like, anybody can really become president. Because before then, we only saw old white men become president. Now, with Barack Obama, I'm like, anybody can do that. We get
Just real quick, fact check so you don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Women's right to vote was established August 18th, 1920.
1920?
Yes.
Listen, my dates are way off. So, women's rights go back further than the 60s. Why do you think the 60s?
I think that's where a lot of
everybody got actual rights.
There was a lot of more vocal on it, and it was more prominent in the community.
Just so
No, good.
I think it makes your point even more.
I love fact checking, and
Yes.
exactly, it makes the point even more that it took 100 years after the right to vote to actually get some. I mean, we're just now seeing a lot of
Empowerment
in women's
women.
rights.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, but no, it to me that's important to go back, and I always say we gotta touch base with not so much the high school and the junior high, but we got to go younger than that. These young women and young boys too, right? Because it's not just about women, but we need to be able to get to them when they're in 3rd, 4th grade, because that's where they really start to take that shape, and probably younger. You know, I'm not in education or specialist in any of this, but I feel that, you know, we tend to forget that the younger they are,
the smarter
they are, and they
retain
absorb
so much.
Yeah. So we need to get them at that age.
I mean,
and
just
really,
think about how it was for you. And I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
you and your
no.
brother with learning a language. You know, I'm not trying to be funny, but I didn't learn Spanish or even begin to learn Spanish until I was in high school. I think that had a major detriment in my ability to learn the language. I think if I learned the language a lot sooner, a lot younger, it would have been way better. And now I'm 40 years old, still struggling. I can understand Spanish. I can get by if I have to, but I don't feel comfortable to have an actual conversation in Spanish. So that goes to say anything with young people, the earlier you start them, I think the better off they're going to be moving on in the future.
Correct, and I think it's important that we, as part of the community, like we were saying earlier, is you're showing up, but you're showing up to be able to support the different causes, because there's so many causes out there. I would love to be out there every single day with so many people here in Worcester. I've never seen anything like this city. I love where I'm at right now. Framingham was amazing, but this is just over the top amazing. I've never seen so much involvement, so many Latinos together. And it's like, it's overwhelming with joy to see that we support each other, and I want to be able to be out there and support as much as I can be, right? And help in whatever movement that I also can help in. So again, going back to that, that's why I'm always in the community. I've sort of taken a little bit back steps. Just because I've been focusing on some other stuff. So it's like I'm really now.
I just saw you recently on social media as part of the new class.
Yes. Leadership Worcester.
That doesn't sound like a down step to me. Congratulations!
Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm so excited.
Leadership Worcester is a dope thing, and
yes.
How lucky are they to have you? And I guess in a sense you're lucky to have them.
Oh my God, I'm so thankful that I was picked.
And the cohort you're with.
Yes.
I'm so jealous that I didn't apply, so I can't be jealous like that.
You need to.
But wow, I wish I was in that cohort. Such great people there.
Amazing people. I'm looking forward to it, and I look at the alumni, and it's like amazing what they've done, what they've accomplished. I went to the first graduation this year for Carla and Suzanne.
Shout out to Carla and Positively Suzanne for graduating.
Yolanda Ramos.
Was in that as well?
No.
She in this year's? I thought I saw her. Okay, but yeah, so many great people in the community that are going through that program. I've been sleeping. I think I'm going to be on the class of 2026 now.
You need to, man. You need to apply. So again, when I say stepping back a little bit, it's more like I wish I could be out there at every community event, but I can't, just because there's a lot on my plate also, right? Between
and
work
truly, you are everywhere.
I try.
Actually trying to be as many events and community situations that you can possibly. But you do have a life outside of the community, which I'd love to transition to. I think this is a beautiful way to move on over to that. Not only do you have your family, but you also have a beautiful growing business.
Yes.
And that is BRZ Insurance.
BRZ Insurance, yep. And
how did you get into that?
So Monica Adwani is really the person.
Actually,
go for it.
I'm gonna leave him on a cliffhanger.
Okay.
Mark Adwani, that's all you need to know for now. But you'll get to know even more as soon as we come back from giving a word to our amazing sponsors. We thank you so much for supporting us.
Manny J Media is brought to you by
back to Interviews with my dear friend, Miss Sylvia Ruiz. Thank you so much. Of BLZ Insurance?
BRZ Insurance.
Why did I say BLZ? I don't know where that...
Monica Adwani.
I'm tripping all over my tongue.
You're good.
Yes.
I got you. I
so
got
we were
your
talking
back.
about Monica Adwani, yes.
Yes, so Monica Adwani is the person behind BRZ, the face behind BRZ. So I am helping and being part of that team. So we are working with auto, we do home, and businesses. So my main thing with this is really doing the part of the community growing business, right? Because I feel that there's lack of education there. What is the insurances that they need? What is it that is important to a small business, right? Or to a growing business, as you say. And and aside from that, before I jump into that, I also have 30 years of experience in the health insurance sector.
Okay.
So
that was your 9 to 5, before you got into this, is what I had to do every day to survive.
Correct. So I was an independent health insurance broker for the growing small businesses and bigger businesses. We did, I worked for a broker firm in Framingham. I'll do a shout out to them, Ellen Kaplan Group Health Specialist. I was with her for almost 18 years. Worked my way right up and saw opportunity and growth and got my license, and I became their first Spanish, Latina, Puerto Rican broker.
Wow.
It was all women.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
huge.
All women owned.
Representation.
Yeah, and every time, it was weird because when I did get my broker's license, it was like, okay, so how do I do this? How do I reach out? And I was in Framingham at that time, so I did a lot of my business in the Boston area, out that way.
Right.
Very little out towards Worcester. It seemed like it was really hard to tap into, and I really didn't know too many people here, right? So anyways, so again, health insurance for the small business or the growing business, up to 200, 250 lives we did. So I did that for many years, and then now it's like working with Monica and really talking more in depth on the growing businesses and really wanting to educate. So that's coming up.
Can we just go back a little bit to when you first started for the initial insurance company as the first Latina Spanish-speaking, I assume.
Yes.
Insurance representatives.
So I was an independent broker for her.
Broker?
She was a broker firm.
Okay.
She had 17 women on staff.
So how did you notice the growth amongst bringing in Latino customers? Was it more difficult? And I asked this seriously in that from where I'm from, which is a poorer side town, me and all my neighbors don't really see a point in insurance.
Correct.
Right? We don't value it as something that we need today. As a matter of fact, a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck. We're not promised tomorrow, especially given our living situations and circumstances. And we just don't see the value in it. So how did you see the growth, and how did you help?
So again, that was one of the most challenging because you can pass your test, right? But how are you going to make that work now?
Yeah.
Especially, I looked at myself and I'm like, how am I going to reach out to the Latino business market? And how am I going to help them? And how am I going to educate them? And to me, it was all about education. It wasn't about going in there and doing a sales pitch. We're very different. We think very differently than the regular mainstream business owners. And you just said it, we are living paycheck to paycheck. We are struggling in real life.
Right.
So you want to be able to understand that and know that. And if you haven't walked that lifestyle, how are you going to know it, right? We've walked that way.
You can't have that empathy, but you have it because you were born into that lifestyle.
Exactly. Come from, the south side of Framingham, housing. Section 8,
Right.
and here I stand before you.
And not to be funny, when we say we're Puerto Rican, like we'll sign on to anything you got just to support another Puerto Rican, right?
Exactly.
It's a brotherhood thing.
Exactly. So again, it was more like I had to find and figure out how was I going to do this.
Right.
And what I found was that I needed to go through it by educating. And educating, a lot of people say, you know, that you come in and you educate them, but one of the things they say is, oh, she thinks she knows it all. It's not about that. It's really changing that mindset, right?
Yeah.
And saying, this is free education to educate you on what is needed and how you can overcome future losses, but not the loss we're dealing with right now at this moment as a growing business.
Yeah, and that's important because people are fearing. One of the fears about future losses is setting yourself up now, however you can, to not end up there.
Exactly.
And so people think they're, you know, they try to do all these things to set it up when.
Exactly. And it's as simple as this. So health insurance. People say, oh, I don't want to offer health insurance. I don't want to purchase the health insurance. I can't afford it. You walk in to an ER with a heart attack. You're looking just at walking in at approximately 50 grand right there.
Right.
Somewhere in there, right? Give or take from it. That's just going in through the ER. Imagine having to be responsible for that. Just imagine. So again, it's like if you have the insurance, the coverage of health insurance, you're going to be covered for that.
Right.
And whether you have a high deductible and you pay a small percentage, it's better than paying that, say, $100,000 that ends up, right? Because it's something in the future or that we're not sure that will ever happen to us.
Right.
But you're going to be covered. And that's my way of educating. The same thing, short-term disability. Most people are like, oh, we don't need that. Okay, I'm outside, we're playing softball. Let's say we're playing ball, we're playing basketball.
Yeah.
I fall, I trip over the ball, I just broke my leg. I'm out of work because I can't drive. So I'm out of work for, say, 6 weeks in a cast. Short-term disability will pay you for being out.
So you're not having wage loss.
Exactly.
And so these are all things that we don't think about when we're thinking about putting up that small, what is it, monthly investment?
Exactly.
Is what we should call it, into our business.
Exactly.
So that we're not facing major deficits in the future.
Correct. And then you take the growing businesses, you know, if they're out there and they're doing roofing companies, let's say, and you don't have that liability. If someone falls off the roof, they're going to come after you as the business owner.
Yeah.
Afterwards. So again, it's really setting you up for in case you just don't know what tomorrow brings or what 5 minutes from now is going to bring.
And also I'm hearing, like, as a business owner, this seems like a somewhat a layer of protection for my employees.
Correct. And because it's not only you, it's your employees also. And in order to have good workers, right, and happy workers, you also need to be able to offer them something. And when you say something, it's something that's personal for them.
Yeah.
Because my insurance policies are personal for me, and they're going to cover me. Life insurance will cover me when I die. It'll give my family the opportunity to be able, it's not going to bring me back,
Right.
but it's going to give the opportunity of coverage for them to, you know, pick up the pieces.
A little sense of relief and of burden.
Exactly, and that's another thing that we don't think about. So again, these small businesses, growing businesses, local community businesses, however we want to call them, and I use all three terms because I know that a lot of people say small business, a lot of people say the growing business, local community. It's important to be educated on that, and it doesn't hurt, and it's not something that is, you know, I don't educate people to sell them that. I educate them to understand what it is that should be important as one of those owners for business, small growing, however you want to call it, right? It's so important to be able to have that coverage for yourself and for the employees. So,
and there's something about a sense of security. Wouldn't you say, like, just knowing that I can focus on what I'm doing and not, like, just having that whatever could happen, I don't need to worry about it because whatever's going to happen, I'm covered for it. And so my focus can be real laser pinpointed on what it is I want to achieve rather than what might happen.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. And in that, what if it's there? You know, in the back of your head, you're covered, your employees are covered, and you want to give them that.
Right.
You do want to give them that. So I feel that the educational piece is so, so crucial for anybody in the market, you know, who has a business. You also need property insurance.
Yeah.
There's so many insurances. I would, you know.
I really want to know. I'm going to ask you. Please don't get offended by this, but
No.
this is just me. I feel like insurance is a scam. I do. I want to start by my experience. Health insurance, we have to pay that. We don't have a choice. I never go to the damn doctor. What are they paying? They're not paying nothing because I'm not using it, right?
Right.
Car insurance, if I don't get into an accident, I don't get a refund. I don't get nothing back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. They're going to keep my money. I didn't get into an accident for them to pay out, right? We'll talk about what ifs, but what if nots, right? What sets BOZ apart from those other insurance companies that I feel like may be scams?
Okay.
This is all hypothetical, by the way. It's not. They're not really scams.
So one of the things is that education piece, first of all.
Yeah.
I go back to that education because it's important. You talk about scams, I'll tell you one. So when you really look at it, you need to, so the younger generation, and for somebody who's really not using the health insurance, that's what the high deductibles are for. Again, that's what sets us apart. We know what we're talking about. We know what we're doing. I would say to you, you don't use your insurance, get yourself a high deductible plan. You're not on any medications. You don't have any health issues. Why are you paying high premiums? Go with a lower premium, get a higher deductible, and set aside for that higher deductible just in case you need it at some point.
Right.
So again, it's not a scam, but it's the way to avoid those costs, like you're saying. There are options out there, and you would not know that if you don't get that educational piece, right?
And the point still remains, if I did get into a car accident, not only could the car accident itself cost me a lot of money, but I could, if it's my fault, could actually be sued by the other party, for who knows how many thousands or hundreds of thousands that I don't have. So.
Exactly. It could be for their car, it could be for their health, whatever damages they incurred. And again, the home. You need to protect your home.
Yeah.
You need to, if you own your home, the same thing if you rent. Do you have renter's insurance?
I don't.
What if a pipe broke?
Oh, I thought you were asking me. I really don't. I probably should, though.
Yes. What if a pipe broke?
Right.
Your landlord is not going to be saying, here you go, Manny, here's, $10,000 to cover all your furniture that was just ruined.
Yeah.
So you get your renter's insurance. Again, it's that educational piece, and you wouldn't know it unless you speak with someone who really cares, and that's what sets us apart. We really care. We've walked that walk. We know what is needed out in the community. The growing business, they need, if they have a property, a building, so you need insurance. What if I walked by and I slipped and fell? What if I fell on your stairs? Oh, Manny, I'm coming after you.
John.
Massachusetts.
That's a great point, John.
Massachusetts is the state where everybody's suing everybody.
Yeah.
But do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's, again, that's what's setting us apart. We're letting you know what is needed. We analyze, we talk with you, you talk, we see what you have for that growing business, and we're going to give you the different options, and we're going to educate you on what is needed. But is there a scam? No, there is no scam. At the end of the day, it's something that is needed. It's really not a scam. I always say, like I just used the health insurance as an example, get a higher deductible. Dental insurance. Everyone says that's a scam.
Yeah.
So I look at it this way.
I mean, I use my dental insurance, so absolutely not a scam.
So then you take...
I couldn't afford all these root canals and everything else I had to get done. Like, They were telling me it was going to be like $10,000 out of pocket for 2 teeth that I had to get fixed. And I got the right insurance, and guess how much it cost me? $0.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
It's amazing.
So I get it. When you need it, it definitely is a beautiful thing to have.
Same thing with vision. We both use glasses.
No, I need my vision. I can't afford out-of-pocket vision health care. I can't.
Glasses are over $800,
Yeah.
$700.
Wild. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, and if you want to stay fashion, forget it.
Right.
Like, who can afford it?
Right.
We
Absolutely.
can't.
Those designer frames are. Whew.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, I go back to what sets us apart is really that we speak 3 languages: English, Portuguese, and Spanish.
Excellent. Which are 3 of the major languages here in the city of Worcester, which is amazing.
Exactly. So again, it's really important to see that we're here for everyone, and we're here for education. And if you have a growing business, if you need renter's insurance, auto, home, whatever it is, call us. Get a hold of us. And talk to us, let us, or, sort of educate you on what your options are so that and you're educated and you can make a real educated guess on what it is that best fits your needs and that you can afford. Because it's not about making that money. To me, it's really about, I want to make sure that you have the coverage that you need,
Right.
and that's the best coverage for you.
It's all about preparation.
Exactly.
And we want to make sure our community is safe and prepared, and
Exactly.
when they're in a time of crisis, they won't be taken advantage of as well.
Correct.
Because there's a lot of that going on.
That is.
I see it. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, they had the fires over at Washington Heights.
Yes.
There was people actually making GoFundMes in those people's names
Oh,
to
wow.
try to collect. Did you see that, John? Like crazy.
Wow.
But if you're prepared and you have your own insurance and stuff like that, you know that, God forbid, there's a fire beyond your control. You're
covered.
good to go. Even though it's still a traumatic experience,
course.
it's not going to take away any of that.
No.
But it's good. I think it's going to make it a lot less traumatic.
Correct.
If you're prepared and ready to go.
And you're covered.
Yeah.
And you're covered.
And
And your
prepared by the
family.
right people. Why? I kind of want to ask it as a question, but I also kind of want to say it as a comment. The fact that BRZ is run by, I'm sure, I know there's men there as well, but I've seen a prominency of women of color. Could we touch on that for a moment?
Sure. Monica has created an amazing team. She has, it's funny because a lot of these women, young women, who are brokers and
They're
are
so
out
enthusiastic
there.
too, by the way. Like,
And they're beautiful.
yeah,
They're beautiful.
ready
their
to go.
personality, and when I say beautiful, I'm talking about their personality,
Yeah.
their
How
charisma,
they come across,
how
they're
they come
welcoming,
across.
yeah.
Yes, and they've walked the walk,
Yeah.
so they know. And the team she's formed is just amazing, and these women are go-getters, and they're going above and beyond. And they're like jumping over these hurdles that have never been seen. The insurance industry was always a man's industry. It was never a woman's. And our fight out there is every single day. But we're growing, and the women out there, I love seeing all these young women and women like taking over the insurance world, because we're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
We are. We're a force to be
absolutely.
reckoned with. And when you go into a man's world like that, where it's all predominantly men in the insurance, it's just amazing to watch the steps as they grow. So again, Monica is BRZ is just doing amazing stuff. And
I feel like it brings you back to when you were a little girl, and your dad said you can really be anything you want to be. To look at it now and see these young girls really stepping into a platform that's traditionally run by men.
Yes.
Like how great it is to bring back that ringing of the past, to say you
Of
can
course.
truly do it, and not only that, our future generations are doing it.
exactly.
I think that's beautiful, and it's such an amazing takeaway.
Exactly, and if I could say one little comment about what you just said to add to that. I remember one day my husband went to a networking event with me, which he doesn't usually do these things. And
By the way,
it was
before you continue, shout out to Sylvia's husband, like so supportive and amazing. I always see him there, well, not always, but once in a while you'll see him around, and he's just sitting there making sure he's behind you, supporting you, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. But one time we were in Boston at some event, and the room was full of all men. It was all an
Yeah.
insurance thing. And he said to me after, and it always stuck with me, just like my dad's comments to me, he said, "I'm so amazed. That room was filled of men, and the way you worked that room, he's like, honey, I'm so impressed and so proud of you. And again, those are the little things, right, that mean a lot, and they give you that power to continue going.
Right.
So again, a shout out to my husband, Hector Ruiz, and he's amazing and very supportive, even for the community. We get him involved in all these, I get him involved in these community things, and he's like, when was I going to find out I was involved? And I'm like, oh, I volunteered you.
Right.
Sorry.
When we needed you, don't worry.
Yeah.
Once you're a man on the table, you'll find out.
Exactly. He's like, well, good to know. So, but no.
It's so important to have a supportive family.
Exactly.
Whether it's your spouse or what have you in your family to help keep you going, because this work could be so exhausting, so overwhelming. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but I feel so guilty at times because I tell my kids, I'm like, I'm so sorry. It's not that I just feel like sometimes I'm too busy for my family. But if you have your family letting you know, we're good, keep going, we're behind you, you're not too busy for us, like those things are important for us to hear, to be able to have our cups filled to continue our work in the community. Now, I can't believe we're almost out of time. I could talk to you for like another hour, I'm sure. But we definitely need to wrap it up here. Okay. So I did want to make sure that you had the opportunity to let everybody know exactly what should be the takeaway when it comes to BRZ.
So the takeaway is really just educating yourself. That's one of the most important things. Don't dive into any contract right away. Really look at it, make sure your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, and that person who's selling you the policy is speaking your language and really understands your needs.
It's important you guys connect, right?
Yes. Yeah. They really should be able to understand where you're coming from, and you should not be afraid to say, well, I can't afford this, or is there any way we can sort of do this? Yeah. And you have to be comfortable in your own skin when you're dealing with a person who's giving you a service of some sort, right? Or offering you a service, because we don't give it, but we offer that service. So again, make sure that you're comfortable with that person, and that person is really listening to your needs, not theirs.
Absolutely.
So that's what's important to me.
Thank you so much. And lastly, before we go, let everybody know how they can get in touch with you, how they can get in touch with BRZ. And also, we didn't talk about it too much, but also you're part of Sevita.
I am.
You know what? You see what I did there, Sylvia?
Yeah.
Sevita.
Sevita.
Yeah,
Sevita.
You work with Sevita, which is an adult
day health center. We are not a daycare. We are an adult day health center.
Thank you for correcting me, because I really was going to say daycare. I know you saw that on the tip of my tongue.
I did. So we are an adult day health center. We have 3, one in Marlborough, West Boylston, and Worcester here, and also a home care agency that I also represent through Sevita. So, business development, anyone who wants to take a tour, please, come see us. You can reach me through Facebook, through LinkedIn. John has my information, my contact.
And
774-486-1202.
Did that come across?
Maybe.
Should we do it again? 774?
486 1202.
1202.
Yes.
And we'll also put that information above in the description here on Facebook.
Awesome.
And YouTube, we'll put it in the description below. So you'll be able to get all of Sylvia's contact information. Yes. And aside from Sevita, you have BRZ. How do people get in touch with you if they want insurance?
Same number. Oh,
you're making it real easy for everybody today.
Same number.
Same socials. As far as Sylvia Ruiz?
Sylvia Ruiz, yeah. And for my email for the insurance, it's sillinsurance1@gmail.com.
All right.
Yeah.
Miss Sylvia, thank you so much, my
dear. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you came. Was it that bad? Are you still nervous?
No, not at all.
We had a great time.
I think 3 minutes in, 5 minutes in, I was good.
Awesome.
It's just a conversation. It's just getting in there.
It's fun, yeah. So now you guys know, if you want to be on the Manny J Media interviews, we just have a good time, and the nerves shake off in the beginning real quick. So.
And he's amazing. He's amazing. You've covered 2 of my events. Amazing work you guys do.
So much
you and John both.
We really appreciate you having us, giving us the opportunity, and for being there. But not only for Manny J Media and our growth, but also to be able to share that information and education of resources with the community.
Yes.
Ms. Sylvia Ruiz, thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you all for joining us in this amazing conversation here on Innerviews, only on Manny J Media, community delivered. We'll see you real soon. Peace.